Thank you for tuning in to Uncommon Women. I'm your host, Shanera. So today we actually have our second guest for the month, Portia Graham, with us. She's currently a single mother of 3. She is graduated with Associates in Leadership Studies, pursuing a bachelor's in Organization Leadership, currently working as a program coordinator for Good Samaritan Services. She's located in Coatesville, Pennsylvania, and today she's actually going to be giving her testimony as being a single mother at the age of 16 and where she is now in life at the age of 36.
Thank you, Shanera, for that introduction. I grew up in a household with both parents, and with both parents working with little to no guidance or supervision, I had a lot of time to play. I met a boy, quote unquote, fell in love, and in a few months, I was pregnant. I was in 10th grade. I was 16. My parents were disappointed, but I was okay. I was already formulating in my mind my plan of what I was going to do. I had the experience helping out with my younger siblings, with homework, meals, play, etc. And I knew I could take care of my own son. But the shocker came when my parents put me out. Once I told them that I was pregnant, they told me I had to leave. So I had no choice but to come back to my hometown and get the support of my family. So for a few months, I was back in my hometown. And after finishing the school semester out for the summer, I returned back home with my parents. And once the smoke cleared and we were able to focus and move forward on preparing for my son to arrive. I knew the expectation for me, nonetheless, was to finish school, to graduate, work, and build for my family. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to plan for. All I knew was to work and take care of my son. And some of the challenges I met were with work, having no license, navigating transportation in a big city, getting back and forth to doctor's appointments for both me and him while still continuing to be in school, and, of course, childcare. After a few years of experiencing this, at age 19, I found myself pregnant again. I had to move back to Coatesville, my home, which is my hometown, for support from my family. Things started to look up, though. Things started to turn around. I got my first apartment. I got my license. I got a car. I got a job as a restaurant manager for McDonald's, and things were really looking good. By the age of 23, between 23 and 26 were the years where I was in several relationships, bad habits, setbacks, and with all of that going on between those formative years, I found myself homeless at age 27. Age 27, homeless, in the shelter. Pride is what kept me there for 6 months. Not wanting to be shamed with asking anybody else for help again and hearing I told you so and all of that. Pride kept me there. But while I was there is when the life transformation started happening for me. They started to emerge. I had to ask myself, what am I doing? And how did I get here? Where am I going? And I had to go back to my roots, my faith. My faith was to be able to have communication with God and get in alignment with what's going on, because I was all out of sorts. After 6 months of being homeless and in the shelter, I was able to take advantage of a housing program that allowed me to move into my own home. So I did that. At this time, I'm at the age of 28. That was in the month of July, I remember, 2008. By August 2008, I went back to college. I looked at this as an opportunity for me to really get myself back on a good foot. Went to college, wanted to go for law and justice, but leadership grabbed my attention as well for the things that I also wanted to accomplish that it would also fit. So going back to college, I started a new job as a school bus driver that allowed me to be home with my kids, wake up with them in the morning, go to bed with them at night, and still afforded me the stuff to get done during the day, like run errands, pay bills, wash clothes, cook dinner, all things that I enjoy doing as a mom. once in college, after working for the school bus, opportunities start coming, and they didn't stop coming, and they've continued to keep knocking these doors down. But I also decided at this point in time, and I'm around somewhere by the age of 29, 30, that it's time for me to take control of my life, to be intentional and strategic about the decisions that I'm making, because the sacrifices that I was making, it was no longer the sacrifice for what I wanted, but for what my children needed.
Thank you so much for that powerful testimony, Portia. Very an inspiration for single mothers. So, being as though you did have your first child at the age of 16, how was it being in high school and pregnant?
Oh, high school and pregnant was interesting. There were my classmates, for the most part, they treated me like there was nothing going on. They didn't miss a beat. They were not judgmental. But the teachers, it was a toss-up, 50-50. There were some that were supportive and encouraging, and there were others that were discouraging and made indirect comments. But what I loved most was the modifications to gym. Yes.
Wow, that's very powerful. So, being a young mother, what challenges or struggles did you occur?
Well, as a young mom, let me think about this. As a young mom, I would say my number one challenge was being a teen mom and then dealing with postpartum depression and not even knowing what that was, not even understanding what that was, and not having a lot of support either to kind of deal with that. And then just not knowing myself, not knowing myself, and now being responsible for a whole nother human being.
So, if you could change one thing that you have learned as being an adult to something that could have possibly guided or helped you as a teen, what would that be?
I would say knowing my value and my worth. Had I known that as a teen, I would have definitely made a better decision.
So how has your life impacted women and single mothers today?
Well, I would have to say it's not how I have impacted women and single mothers. It's how other single mothers and women have impacted me and how we choose to move forward together. Through my life, I continue to motivate, inspire, and encourage women to reach and achieve their goals.
That's good. Yes, being a single mother is very challenging, We have to juggle a lot of things like going to work, coming home, helping with homework, doctor's appointments, taking our children to sports. A lot we're actually taking on the responsibility of a parent of two being done by one. And as women, we're supposed to be the nurturing parent. But when you are a single parent, you're forced to be the disciplining parent and the nurturing parent. And that can be a challenge as well. So what we're going to do today, we're actually going to give women some healthy tips in regards to healthy relationships. So the first thing we're actually going to touch base on is self-awareness before dating.
Healthy dating begins with self-examination. Smart singles take a good look in the mirror before dating. They examine their motivations for dating. Is it loneliness? Unresolved hurt? How do you know when you're ready?
Right. You got to ask yourself those questions like, am I ready to date? Am I in a place to have a healthy relationship with someone else? So when you feel as though you are in a place of self-awareness and being able to commit to someone else, the first thing that you have to do while dating is be upfront with them about things, let them know your schedule and your availability. Let them know how busy your life is because you are a single parent. Make sure you're on the same page with them as well. And be straightforward. your expectations have to be the same for each other as well.
Absolutely. Pace and balance is extremely important when you're dating. If you fall in love, don't abandon your kids by spending all of your free time with your newfounded love. It's tempting, but doing so taps your child's fears that they are losing you and gives false impression to your dating partner that you're totally available to them. You're not. Don't lose your balance.
Right. Balance is very important. You don't want to take away the time that you have scheduled for your family to be with someone else. It's very important for you to be able to balance your dating life and your family life out equally, because you don't want your children feeling neglected because you're spending most of the time with your boyfriend or majority of the time out with other people. You want to keep it on an equal level for them to feel loved and appreciated when you're dating as a single parent. I think another thing is very important as far as healthy relationships is timing and communication between the two. You guys have to be on the same page before you can actually introduce the person you're dating to your family. And let's not just be introducing dates to your children. Let's make sure that we're introducing a boyfriend, someone that you potentially want to build a family with, to your children. You don't want to have dudes in and out of your life and you're introducing them to your children. And if you're raising women, you don't want them to feel as though guys in and out of your life is acceptable. We have to be leading by example. So I think timing is very important because it gives you a chance to build a friendship with the person that you're dating, and it also gives you time to communicate with your children as well.
Exactly. We're talking about avoiding the quick turnaround. Parents who begin dating quickly after the end of a relationship or reach a quick decision to move on after a brief dating period often find their children more resistant to accept the relationship. And this sabotages the ability of a possible step-parent and child to get off on the right foot with one another, and this definitely puts the family at risk.
Right, and you have to feel safe. You have to feel safe, and you definitely have to build some type of trust between the person that you're dating before you can just introduce them to your children. Trust is very important because your children is going to be seeing the steps that you're taking as an adult. And that's going to be their foundation for when they get into a relationship when they get older.
And how you engage in those what-if conversations with the children are very important as well. Even before dating, single parents begin a series of conversations or should begin a series of conversations with their children that ask, what if I begin dating? How would you feel? Periodically, they engage in conversation again and again. What if John Doe and I begin dating regularly? What if John Doe's kids come over every Friday through the summer? What if he and I were to get engaged? Each dialogue is both an assessment. How are my kids feeling about these possibilities and realities and interventions? It prepares them for what might happen. Smart singles don't let their children's emotions dictate their dating progress, but they do listen and give serious consideration to how the children are feeling. Becoming a couple is up to you. Whether you become a family is up to them. Engage in these conversations throughout your dating experience, especially in anticipation of each stage of a developing relationship.
Thank you. I absolutely agree on everything that you pointed out. And I believe, these tools are definitely going to help single parents with building a healthy relationship as far as with dating and a healthy relationship with their children as well. Thank you again, Portia, with sharing your story and your testimony. And there is one other question I would like to ask you. Being as though you have shared your testimony and your experience of where you are now in life, what makes you uncommon?
What makes me uncommon? I have an indomitable tenacity and resilience. I rise up in spite of the odds stacked up against me. I am aggressive in what sets my soul on fire. I am a woman of substance. I am tough and ambitious. I am a woman of undeniable influence, skill, and talent. I cause not just ripples in the water, but shifts in the universe.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much. And thank you, ladies, for tuning in to Uncommon Women today. Be sure to share our podcast, like, comment. You can check us out on IG and Twitter, listed under Uncommon 3 Women. And you can also check us on Facebook under Uncommon Women. If you have any stories that you want to ask or any questions, even any topics you would like us to include, feel free to email us at uncommonwomenpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for tuning in, and ladies, stay uncommon.